So, pretty much the way things are gonna start, for whatever reason, like you can pick the reason yourself why you're in this town. So, Macaulay, one of your things is that you're wanted by the law. So maybe you fled to this town.
That's
Jake,
perfect. There's
Jacob's been
also
like saved and pretty much raised by these people. But whatever reason you're here for, you're both part of. You could call them a guild if you want, or you could just call them a straight up gang. But there's kind of like a thieves ring who call themselves the frontiersmen that live up in just outside the town of Medford. You don't actually know where the hideout is because you're neither of you are like official members yet. You've just been kind of taken in, earning trust, and right now you've both been kind of like I would say dead dropped. Uh, like a mission where there's a spot you go to, you can just pick up like the mission from a secret location. Like no one walks up to you and hands it to you. I'm assuming one or both of you can read.
Yeah,
probably.
I think. Uh,
Let's just make sure. Hold on.
1 second.
Yeah, I think you could read. Maybe just really
I
badly.
struggle. I'm dyslexic, like in real life.
Okay, so you went to one of the dead drop locations after receiving word that you've been like given a contract, and this contract is going to be like your rite of passage to become like full members of the guild to prove your loyalty. So what your message is that the leader of the guild, who neither of you have actually met before, whose name is Selma Holt, has assigned you a mission to find the owner of the tin mine just outside of town in the mountains and acquire his like you know the way you hear about like people paying like safety money, like protection money.
Oh, yeah.
He owes
Basically.
a lot of protection money. Specifically 250 gold worth of protection money to the
Yeah, we can beat
guild
him up.
that he hasn't paid back yet. So you need to find him and by any means necessary that does not involve killing him, get the money that he owes the guild. However, you have a side mission. The rumor around town is that he's found something extremely valuable in the mine that is worth a lot of money. And
I'm
if possible, you have
a
to
really
find out what it is and or steal it without being caught. So,
piece of pish.
with your mission, you're now standing out the back of the tavern, just like in the alley streets behind the tavern, hidden from view. You both know each other because you've like interacted with other members of the guild before, but you're not necessarily close. You just know each other barely. So,
Okay.
knowing your mission, you can now do whatever you want to complete it. Any way you want. You've complete freedom of what you do. You can go anywhere. You could go on a side mission and sail across the ocean if you want.
And go kill a bear.
Well, you could
So,
get killed by a bear.
Macaulay, what's your
Yep.
character's name?
Uh,
Fuck it. Wait, no.
Carrick, top left, Carrick. Yep, sorry, I was just, I was about to say urchin there for a minute. Wait a
that's,
minute, wow!
that's your background. So, if, like, I think it'll be more fun if when you're, like, talking to each other about game stuff, to try and be your character.
uh,
If you remember, call each other by, like,
yeah,
your
original
names.
like character names. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
Right,
don't,
Proper
so
roleplay.
so if you don't remember each other's names,
I'm gonna be
I
terrible.
know, just actually, I'll do it. I'll do a
I'm
thing
not
here
gonna
that'll
lie, I'm
make it
pretty sure I
easier.
forgot Macaulay's name already.
Hold
Carrick,
on.
fuck. I don't know your name.
So if you look back to where your character sheet is,
Oh,
Uh,
Eric.
I'm adding.
Okay.
I'm
Right,
adding
Oh,
like
there we go.
Right,
That'll,
then.
that'll make things a lot more. That'll smooth the roleplay out a wee bit.
yeah. So if
Be
you
like,
need to,
fam, you wouldn't punch up that booty there, would you?
okay. So we can now start. Out the back of the tavern, you've just got your mission. I don't know, maybe it's in like a barrel of grain or something. You've pulled it out, you've read it, and you need to know what you do.
What time of day is it?
Probably about midday, like 12:30.
Do we know how far away the tin mine is?
You know roughly whereabouts it would be, but you've never been there. So
So what is
over like here, probably
so
on
what?
the map.
So this guy owns just a lot of protection money, and apparently we either have to get the protection money back without killing him, and then if that doesn't work out, we can steal something that apparently he has in the mine.
You have to just like your main objective is to get the money. So to get him to pay you the money, take things from him that make up the money, or just beat it out of him or steal it. And then
Okay.
then your side mission is there's rumors about this very valuable thing he found in the mines. Nobody exactly knows what it is, so you have to either find it and steal it, or just find out what it is and where it is, and bring that information back. So you don't need to complete that part.
Okay.
It's just like a bonus objective.
Dead
Carrick.
ass, though. Yep.
Are you ready? Have you read over the plan?
Yep.
I think we should
Shoot.
move out to the tin mine straight away.
Oh, well, it's midday, so may as well make a head start.
This hidden treasure, what do you think about it?
Oh, we gotta go for it. Gots to like.
It could be risky. The tin mine is an important resource. There'll be quite a few guards.
Well, if the old man or whoever the frig it is don't pay up, we'll just take it anyway, and there's the debt paid, or that'll do.
I was hoping that whatever this is in the mine could be a bonus for us. I mean,
Could be two.
tin mine's been profitable for the town, so we should be pretty well off with money. My plan is we arrive at the tin mine, wait till dark, sneak into the tin mine, try to find what the tin miners found, and then steal it, and then we'll go settle our debt.
Good plan.
Now,
Let's do it.
before you decide to move anywhere, just check your inventories and make sure, like, if there's something you want to sell, we can get rid of it. Or if there's any supplies you think you might want or need, then you could
how
also
much,
get those.
How much gold do I have, Andre? Is that
Uh,
15 or what is that?
yeah, that's
it's
15
10.
gold, and Mackay is
How come
10
I only
gold.
get 10? You
Because of your
nerd?
background. Jacob picked a criminal background, so he's more
Before
money.
we leave, we should go into the tavern, buy some food supplies. We don't know how long this might take us, and we might have to wait out a while.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let's
How long-
go.
Drew, how
I
much
will
does
now
5 rations
prepare and
cost you?
Look up the price of
I don't
things.
know. I don't know how many. How much?
And then if you want to, you can haggle.
Last?
You need to eat 1 pound of food and 1 water a day.
But that doesn't answer my question. What's
So,
5
l-
rations? Is
look
that a
at-
pound?
Look at your rations, and then
Is
to
my
the right
water
of that is the
skin
weight.
full?
Yeah. Your water
Is
skin can
5
hold.
beside it? 5 pounds?
Okay, so 5
Yeah.
rations is 2. Yeah,
So it's
that's
5 days of
probably
water.
not enough.
Well, your 5 rations, like,
Well, actually,
one-
I didn't actually see that we have rations.
1 ration is 2 pounds. So you've 10 pounds of food.
Of 10 pounds? Ooh, flip right. Okay, that's
So we have
10
enough
days.
food for 5 days?
No, 10.
For 10 days.
10
10
days.
days. Oh, shit.
And if you
10.
really want to, you can eat half a pound of food a day, but then you get
Your
this
stats
thing
will
called
take a hit.
exhaustion where
I
Yeah,
bet
you
it's
get
gonna
wrecked.
take 10 days. Like,
Ah, fuck it. We'll just get a drink then before we leave.
Oh, like a mug of ale.
Yeah.
I don't own any copper. Is there an exchange rate for?
Well-
Saul, you one-armed bastard, give me your
Well,
finest
the way it works
pence.
is 10 copper is a silver, 10 silver is a gold, and then 10 gold is platinum, but platinum normally isn't used. And then there's another one in there that I can't remember what it's called, but it's worth like 5 silver. So he's both
Okay.
gonna walk into the tavern together, burst into the doors, and at
Yeah,
midday,
we're just going for a pint. Going for a pint.
going for a pint. So you walk in to the not super great looking establishment. It's pretty rough around the edges. The tables, some of them have splinters on them, so you gotta be careful. Some of them are broken. A couple chairs missing. There aren't really any people in the tavern right now. There's one guy passed out in the back corner. A couple like servers cleaning the floors from all the vomit and spilt drinks from the past night. And the barkeep that you're both quite familiar with is not at the front of the bar, manning it just at the minute. So what do you want to do in the bar?
Walk up to the bar.
Okay.
And,
The guy sleeping in the
wait a
corner.
minute. Wait a
How
minute.
visible is he to the rest of the room?
Oh, he's
Can you
playing
can
in
you
the
hear
open.
that? Can you?
Is he
I'm
like?
I'm banging on the table.
Oh, I
So
can't
ba-
even hear that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Bang on the bar.
So-
Saul, you one-armed bastard, get out here.
well, you're saying that. What did you want to know about the guy passed out in the corner?
Can everybody see him?
Oh yeah, everybody's
Ah,
knows he's there.
We're the there's only players in the bar. You retard.
So-
Wait, hang on.
There was a passed out guy in the bar, two serving
okay,
girls that are like mopping the floor pretty much, and then the two of you.
While he's banging on the table making all that drama, I just go over and have a look at this old sorry fellow in the corner.
Okay, so do you want to like see what he's got on him, or what are you looking for?
Let's do that.
Okay, so we'll need to roll a perception check. So if you open up your character sheet,
Oh God! Right.
you'll see a list of skills beside your stats, like acrobatics, animal handling. There's a lot of like blue ticks beside them.
Yes.
Look for the one that says perception, and then if you click it, you can roll the dice.
I have
Mine are
it.
showing up black, so I will need to change that. And then,
a 4 and a 17.
oh, is there a
Never
thing at the
mind.
top somewhere saying about advantage? It's trying to roll advantage on your dice rolls for some reason. I need to turn that off because I don't know why it's doing it.
How do I do that?
I don't know. I fixed it one other day, but
My
apparently
per-
it has rebroken.
It says my perception is 2 with a tick beside it, so
That's like a +2 bonus.
okay.
So just to make
right.
this easier, just go into the bottom right and just type /R1D20.
/R1D20 no spaces. What? Why did that not work?
/R space 1D20.
13.
Okay, so
That plus 2.
that is then the 13 plus the 2 of your perception.
So 15.
So you can see that he's a quite old man, just slouched in the corner in his chair, with the drool dripping down his mouth into his beard.
As you do.
He's got a half-empty tankard of ale on the table in front of him, and he has a coin purse at his side, but it does look quite light, but you can't tell how much money there might be in it. So, while you're looking at him,
Yep.
there is the sound of footsteps coming from the other side of the bar, and and the lovely Saul Jacobs with his massive bushy mustache and missing left arm,
Yeah.
walks out into the bar, holding like his cleaning cloth. Gives you both a look, sighs, and then begins to ask, what do you both want this early in the morning? Like, I
Oh.
swear,
Jacobs,
if there's more early drinkers, just don't throw up on the floor. We
I'm
just got it
surprised you're
cleaned.
not happy to see us. I would have thought you would have.
I'll be
won all
happy
the
to see your
business.
gold.
Hey, by the looks of it, you need all the gold you can get to buy some new furniture. Look at this place.
These dab villagers. Goddamn drunkards. Keep getting into bar fights and breaking the shit. It's a pain in my
You know,
ass.
I could do some security or something on some nights. You know, for the right price.
We've already got the security we need, but they tend to
Mhm.
just get involved in the bar fights. So-
Lol.
Yeah. Maybe you should start up a fighting pit. It would be maybe more profitable.
People tend to keep their fighting in the streets, not really going for any profitable business on that. But what drink do you
But,
want?
I'll take an ale for myself and an ale for my friend here.
Just a normal mug of ale?
Yes.
That'll be 8 copper for the two.
Here you go.
You're just gonna flick him the... Well, you'd have to flick him a gold, and then there'd be
Yeah.
a lengthy process of him counting out some silvers and coppers to give you back the money that you need.
Hmm.
But after...
No,
What?
I've only got. I'm better have change for a gold.
I hate counting change. But anyway, here's your drinks. Just toss me the gold and I'll get your change before you leave.
Okay.
I'm
Carrick.
gonna ignore the
So he
old guy now.
just
Go back to the bar.
slams down 2 mugs of ale.
I've stared at him now like a pedo for 30 seconds, so, and I've done my examination. I'm just going over the bar.
You
So-
think you'd be.
He
Carrick.
takes the mugs in turn,
Drink up.
slams them down on the bar in front of you, takes the gold, starts trying to count out how much money you're owed back. With his one
Fair.
hand, which is very difficult.
If you looked at that old man anymore, I would have thought you would have proposed to him.
Ah, well. Oh my god, I'm terrible at this shit.
You know what? It's better that you say nothing. Just drink. You're good at that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take you long to...
Cheers and
Cheers
just
and
start
down it.
naked.
Yep. Straight up knock it off.
Do you want to see if you can successfully down the whole thing in one go?
No.
Oh.
I do, but I gotta roll.
Oh, do a constitution check, Macaulay. See how it goes for you. Just roll another
Right.
d20 and I'll add it on.
Can I hit up? Yeah.
Oh! Oh my god. So,
Well,
you just tip her,
Breathe it off!
straight down.
you just tip it bottoms up, down the whole thing in a couple seconds. Doesn't even phase you. Like, not at all.
Take it easy now.
Hey, Jacob, you get my friend an empty glass.
It just gives you a blank stare. Clearly upset.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
he is impressed though. He is quite impressed that you managed to down the entire mug so quickly.
Flippin' hell. Right, where's your buy go to now? Are we leaving yet, or no? we're
Well, what
still
do you
in
want
there?
to
What
do?
you want? I'm sipping away here.
You're taking your time, enjoying
And
the
I'm
drink.
also I'm waiting for Jacobs to fucking count up his change.
Oh yes. He finally lifts a stack of 9 silvers and 2 coppers and sets them down onto the table in front of you beside your mug. There's your change. Don't go spending it all in one place.
By
Many
time.
thanks.
And then he reaches over, grabs the mug in front of Carrick, and has it pinned to the table with his one hand as he starts cleaning the inside of it. Clearly, still amazed at how quickly the drink disappeared. So, you're just gonna stay in the bar, making small talk until you finish your drink?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so after not that long, you eventually finish your own drink. And you're now ready to leave after Jacobs takes your drink from like the empty cup from you, starts cleaning it as well.
I
Right,
suppose we better be getting on.
Yeah, let's bounce.
Okay, so
See you later, Jacobs.
he just grunts at you.
On our way out, is he still at the bar?
Yes. He's watching you leave.
Alright, let's just go.
So you
Quite
step
hard.
outside. Hasn't been too long. Still midday. Not very long's passed. So what do you want to do next before your journey begins?
How many hours do I have?
Do
20.
you have
Probably
anything that needs
probably
done
not.
before we leave? Could be
I-
away a few days.
I can't think of anything.
Right. I suppose we better get moving then.
Indeed. So you're just ready to leave the town and
Yes.
start moving?
We shall
So
set off towards the. To
you
the
know
mine.
that the mountains are
Oh
roughly.
god.
Now, if you were moving at a fast pace, like a really fast pace, it would take you about 3 days to reach, well, 2 days to reach the base of the mountain, and to get into where the mine would be around this area, it would take you probably like 3 days on the rough terrain of the forest and hills. That's at the fastest pace you can go.
What, so it would take
3 days
what-
walk.
3 days walk. Okay.
Because you don't have horses. You could try and get horses, but you probably don't have enough money to get horses.
No, we'll just start walking on foot.
Go walking.
Are you gonna follow the paths or stay off the paths? No, because these
We
aren't like,
shall-
they're not like roads. They're more just like dirt tracks worn into the ground.
Cool. I'm gonna
Hmm.
say paths, but could do either.
We shall. I shall also say pass, but it might be advisable, Carrick, that we don't let people see us heading to the tin mine. The
What when we get
Less-
a days away?
the less people know that we're heading out this way, the less trouble we might avoid in the future.
Okay.
Well, as you start to walk out of the town of Medford, you begin to reflect on the town itself, that it is a frontier town built on the northwestern coast of the Kingdom of Astoria, which is this big text down south of you. That is the capital of the kingdom you're in. And you're on the very northernmost edge. Any further north goes into pretty much uncharted wilderness, where nobody really knows what's up there. From what you know of the town, a couple generations ago, some hardened settlers moved in and started to set up this town as a way to escape the more civilized areas, building it pretty much in one of the most dangerous places in the kingdom. They picked a pretty good spot. The town is built on a sheltered bay that leads up into the frigid north, which is pretty much the northern sea of the planet, I guess. But there's also a lot of pine trees. Like the town is completely surrounded by pines. Probably like a couple 100 yards from the town, it's just like a wall of pine trees. And because of the pines, there is a thriving lumber industry where they will cut down the wood, shape it into like planks or beams for building that they then bring to the town and sail around the coast to the bigger cities for construction. The only other big resources is this tin mine up in the mountains, which they also
Okay.
ship from Medford to the other bigger cities along the coast. So it is a very dangerous place to live. The town has like a defensive palisade wall where they just have pretty much the trunks of trees, the branches cut down off them, and they're just planted into the ground all around the town. The As you begin to walk out
Has
of the
the
town
town ever been attacked?
that you know of, yes, it has been attacked by I would say the people would call them the wild creatures of the night, and has been raided a few times by the raiders to the west.
Okay.
Though the town has
Lovely.
never fallen. They've been attacked, but they've always fought off the attackers. So, on that note, as you step out through the palisade gate, looking at the walls, there are the scars of battle on the palisade, but they're very old. It's been a long time since the town was actually attacked by anything. And immediately, the scent of pine trees just hits you. It just clears your nose. Luckily, neither of you are allergic to like
Nature.
pine, or you'd be dead. You'd be very dead because there's a lot of pine trees.
Finally, the air doesn't smell of fish and shit.
Indeed.
At last.
So you just want to follow the eastern path towards the mountain?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, as you step out through the gates, it's hard to see the mountain because of how far away it is and the pine trees in front of you, but you can just see the tops of the mountain range just to the northeast, peeking over the top. It's going to be a long walk, probably a difficult walk, but in a couple of days you would be able to make it there. So do you want to go, what kind of pace do you want to make? Like you want to get there really fast? Do you want to take your time? Or just go at a kind of steady, normal speed?
We shall move at a quick pace for the first day.
Ooh.
That's
Yes.
my suggestion.
So, as the day begins to progress, nothing has really happened so far as you're traveling. After a couple hours, is there anything you want to talk about on your travels? Anything you want to do or look out for?
So-
Uh,
Carrick,
yeah.
do you see yourself staying in Medford long?
Been on the move most of my whole life now, so I don't see it now.
You don't have an allegiance to the guild?
Oh shit.
Maybe you're paying in debt, my guy.
I owe someone a couple of favors. Just keep it that way.
Yes. I know that far too well myself. I'm hoping with this job I'll finally get to pay back the guild for the kindness they've shown me. But I don't want to stay in Medford forever.
Me neither.
But
So as you continue to walk along the road at quite a fast walking pace, like just imagine a power walk. So it's taking it out of you. But as you're walking along, how long do you want to walk for before you decide to rest?
Sundown?
So you want to
Is that
go
good?
for like 8 hours?
no, not sundown.
Oh, okay.
Um,
My
I
bad.
was
Probably.
wondering.
What did you say? It was midday when we left.
Yeah, it was probably like half 12, closer to 1 maybe.
We'll walk for 3 hours, then take a break.
Take it as like a short break or
Yeah, just
rest
drink
for
a
the
bit
night.
of just drink a bit of water. Sort of
So
relieve ourselves. If
yes,
need
you
be.
need to take that shit. So
The dockets are the good leaves, right?
Uh, Yeah.
Ah, it's on my finger. Ah.
You could always make a survival check if you wanna. I'm trying to remember which ones are the good leaves.
You just rubbed your ass with poison ivy.
Yeah, we could find out in one
No,
quick
no, I
roll.
feel like I've lived here, like in the area long enough that I would know what.
Just grab some things, mate. You be grand.
Oh god,
Oh my
couple
god.
of nettles just. I love the way that the tingle.
My god.
The tingle just makes you walk fast.
That is a old wives' tale that you've heard before. It's a common folklore legend about the nettles.
So we walk 3 hours, rest, then walk
So-
another 3 hours, and then we'll set up camp for the night.
Okay. So you keep walking after your quick break, and nothing like it's pretty smooth travel. The weather's good. Haven't really seen anyone, anything. Maybe a squirrel here, a rabbit there. Nothing's really happened on your journey so far. And the sun is starting to get lower in the sky as you come to a stop. Now, whereabouts would you like to make your camp? You could make it on the road, just off the road a bit. Wherever you want. The decision is yours.
I'm gonna say off the road, definitely. How
Is
deep
it cold?
Oh no, it's
Right.
not cold. Well, at the minute, it's not that cold. It's probably closer to the end of summer. You are very far north, but at this point, you're used to it, and the
Okay.
bed roll stuff you have is good enough that you wouldn't really feel the cold in your sleep.
Right. Just set up maybe a wee bit away from the road. I'm gonna start building sort of like a makeshift shelter, just out of sort of. If I can get some like sort of decent tree branches and stuff to make sort of like a wee.
Just like some cover from the elements.
Yeah. Because I feel like there would be quite a bit of a westerly wind.
Well, as you
But
move off
we do
the road
have
a
quite
bit,
a lot of tree cover, so.
yeah. As you move off the road a bit, there is a small clearing with not a big clearing, but just enough for you to put down your bedrolls comfortably with no trees or anything in the way. After a couple of minutes, you've gathered together what branches and twigs, and there aren't really any leaves because they're fir trees, but you've gathered up what you'd need to make your shelter.
Yeah, like that.
You will need to roll your survival check to see how effectively you make your shelter.
What do I need to roll? A d20?
Just roll a d20, and I will
Please,
apply.
please.
Oh my god!
It's the
Three-
best shelter ever!
3 rolls, 2 20s. This shelter would be more of a mansion in survival terms. There's probably like you started making it.
Lad. You've got the whole thing.
Lad, here's my cup holder. Don't know what a cup is, but
We've
started
got a
making
portable
it,
generator.
and then
We've got
The
a gas heater.
inspiration just hit you. You've got enough space for maybe up to 5 people in your shelter. You've got like a little pit dug in the ground surrounded by rocks with a lovely campfire. Perfectly dry wood. Like you've got tinder, you've got everything you need. Even along the way, I'll say you find a couple edible berries you could eat because, damn, it's a good shelter. It's a good house. Even without leaves, because they're all fir trees, you just got the perfectly sized, perfectly widthed like sticks to like build a little like cover over the top. It's like an immaculate mansion, 5-star shelter. Very
I
impressive.
walk in. Holy shit, Barry, this is some odd place.
While he's been doing this, what have you been doing? Just watching in amusement?
No, I was gonna ask,
wanking to the wind.
Barry, do you want to build a fire or do you want to leave it?
lad? Have you not seen what I've been doing? There's a
What?
fire pit right here.
There's a
As
fire pit. Oh my god.
as you're like asking him, like in the middle of construction, you like say that, turn around to look at him, then you just see him placed on the last like stone to the fire, and just look up. It's like, oh,
Lol.
okay then. There's like this fire is it's amazing. It looks like some sort of professional fire
Got
pit.
logs in it. Just like the
Yeah, it's
forest.
perfect. Just find the perfect fallen tree that was already mostly broken
Wait,
up into small chunks for a fire. Very
wait,
convenient.
wait. How do we start fires in this?
You've got, well, you both have a tinderbox in your inventory, which is everything you
Ah.
need to start a fire.
I take it we have to do a
Car,
roll.
get
No.
the fire going, and then
I will
Since
put
you
the
have the
roll.
tinderbox, like it's such a like you just
Oh, it's a guaranteed.
strike, yeah, you
Right,
just strike your
right,
flint
right,
and
right.
steel, and
yeah, you
Alright,
can't really
well, I-
fuck up. You can't fuck up with the tinderbox. Like,
if you didn't have a tinderbox, then you could fuck up.
Right. Well, I'll get the fire going then.
Doesn't take you too
Uh,
long, just a couple strikes with the flint and steel from your tinderbox, and the fire starts crackling, and quickly, from how good the wood is, turns into a nice, bright, glowing flame, engulfing the little fireplace.
I'll eat a pound of my rations and drink some water
I'll do the same.
around the
If
campfire.
if you want, we can say that you already had ate and drank your daily requirement before you left on the journey, before things started.
Alright, like this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then like
Uh,
every night you sleep, if you haven't like went to the tavern or something and you're in the wilderness, I'll just assume you're eating unless you say you're not eating. Well, eating and
Uh,
drinking.
Uh huh.
I'll take first watch. You get some sleep.
Alrighty.
Uh, so
Yeah,
So how long are you going like what way are you gonna split up the watch?
I'll
like-
let him sleep for. What time is it now?
Well, the sun is about to go down. It's hard to tell like exactly what time it is in the
oh god.
Like the
this is
thick
summer, It'll be like
trees.
it'll be like 8 o'clock probably.
Okay, I'll let him sleep. I'll let him sleep to what I think is about 6 hours.
Okay.
I'll just sort of keep the campfire going.
Now, normally you need to rest for a total of 8 hours to, well, between 6 and 8 hours, depends on like how like fantasy you're doing it, to get your bonuses for like regaining health, regaining spells, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think, well, because there's two of you, we will say if you can both rest and sleep for 6 hours, you'll be good without having like any strenuous activity that lasts too long in the middle. So if you got 5 hours sleep and you spent the last hour awake fighting, then you wouldn't get your like bonuses for sleep.
Or wanking.
So you would need to split it like one of you sleeps the first 3 hours, one of you sleeps the last 3 hours. And then, even though that would be really bad for you in real life, because you only get 3 hours sleep, since there's only two of you, and you're just kind of sitting around, you're not doing anything, we'll just say you didn't really use much energy, so you're not tired from it.
So we'll do 4 hours each then, because then
Okay,
it should
get a
be
good
near
sleep.
enough to daylight.
Okay, so the sun starts to dip down past the trees. You can just see the light streaking through the trees, the scent of pine in your nose, as Karaka crawls up in this mansion of his shelter and goes to sleep next to the fire. We'll just assume like you're keeping the fire stocked, whoever's on watch. And as he drifts off into a blissful sleep, and darkness starts to fall in the forest. Is there anything you want to do while you're on your watch?
Hmm. Uh, just because I don't trust the wilderness, and I want to like start. Just want to like I want to sharpen like a wooden stick, and then harden the tip in the
In the
fire,
fire? Yeah,
and just make like a makeshift sort of long spear.
it's pretty simple to do. Just sitting, carving away, chipping off a nice fine point, blackening it in the fire before, just in case anything happens.
Yeah. But besides that, just sort of chilling around, maybe doing the 5-finger knife thing.
Oh god. Are you sure you want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do
What's the
a
roll?
do a sleight of hand check, which is your
Uh,
d20 plus 5. So 17.
Oh my god!
So, you don't do it fast, you do it quite fast. Not the fastest ever, just a pretty decent speed. You don't stab yourself.
No, it's
But
just it's just practicing the technique.
it was pretty close at some points. You almost took off your thumb a millimeter closer. You might have stabbed yourself.
Lol.
Just doing this on some like random tree stump somewhere, stabbing away. The
No,
sign.
lad, I've carved out a wee table.
Found a nice sized log. Smoothed it all down into a lovely wee table.
He's made the Mona Lisa on the side
Made
of
a
a log or
sofa and
something.
all. Just
Gonna test something. I want to see how I need to roll dice that you don't see, but I don't remember how to do it. Uh, uh, okay, I worked it out. Okay, so as the darkness is falling and the moonlight starts to seep in through the canopy of the pine trees, you will need to roll a perception check to see if you can spot anything in the night.
a d20.
Yeah, just a d20, and then
By the gods.
Really?
Oh my
What the
god.
fuck?
I can see what type of game this is gonna be. So in the night, since you're just a normal human, you can't see well in the dark. But in this case, the moonlight is pretty bright, surprisingly bright, and it penetrates the trees just enough to give you a pretty clear vision all around. You can hear out in the distance the scuttle of like pine needles on the ground, the crack of branches. Far off in the distance, the howling of wolves, and then even further beyond that towards the mountain, very faintly, more wolves calling back. You
What the hell?
you think you can see the odd movement in the shadows, but because of how dark it is in the night and your eyes, even with such keen senses right now, you can't tell what it is. If only you had better half-elven eyes that can see better in the dark.
Oh, if only.
If only.
Like the branches and everything, does
Yeah.
it sound like it's a something big?
Small, like probably like halfling sized, maybe.
Oh, right.
Something light, like half your size and weight,
Goddamn
just
fuck.
scuttling around. Most likely rabbits or foxes,
Yeah.
staying clear of the camp.
I'll just sort of stay alert, we are in a sort of clearing, so I'm assuming with the fire and the moonlight, I can sort of see anything that would like come out of the
Yeah,
tree line. I
the
would
fire
assume.
spreads a good because it's such a good fire, like maybe a good 50 feet out into the darkness that you can see
that's
around
good.
you.
Oh, good.
But just because it's such an amazing fire.
Well, I'll just just chill out.
So for the rest of your watch, you don't really see or hear anything different. Just the odd rustle of needles on the ground, snap of a branch. It's the same, whatever little creature it is scuttling about in the undergrowth. But your
I
watch.
shall put
Oh.
on my uh, hood. Is like the hood like a cloak thing, or is it just literally a hood?
It's just like a hood.
Alright, then I'll not put it on.
But your watch comes to an end. Nothing notable has happened. Are you gonna swap over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shall wake up Carrick.
How do you wake him up?
I shall the end of the spear, the bit that I haven't like pointed, just the flat bit, I'll just start like nudging into the side of his side.
So, to describe what happens, you're having a lovely sleep.
I'm
like,
just sort of
I'm having a lovely sleep.
I'm just sitting on the wooden stool and I just sort of like get up, or I don't even stand up. I just sort of get the spear and I'm just see the side of like where your hip is, just
yeah.
a couple of wee digs and going like, cock.
Yes.
Now, when you wake up and
God,
look over to where this voice is coming from, you just see
Yeah.
like the glow of the fire and the moonlight. Just kind of
Half blinded, like.
no, it's
Ah.
like framing Beric in more of like a kind of orange demonic light, fire glowing in his eyes as he's poking you with this stick as you sleep. Quite an intimidating sight to wake up to.
Holy shit, Beric, is that you?
No, it's the Tooth Fairy. It's your watch.
Shit. Alright.
I'm gonna get some sleep. Try
Will
not
do.
to pass out. I don't fancy getting crept up by wolves.
Neither do I.
Well, as you exchange the watch, one falling into a lovely slumber in this mansion of a survival hut.
Before I sit down, by the way, sorry, I go Carrick and I just throw him the spear.
You now have this carved down
Wooden-
point
A
on the spear.
wooden spear.
So
Wait, is it a full length spear or like a just
Probably-
a
It's about the size of your body, like so. Yeah.
Oh,
a good decent sized spear. So as one falls into a nice deep sleep in the hut, and the other sits outside in the light of the fire, moonlight coming down, smell of the forest and the pine filling your nose, bit with the smoke of the fire as well.
Yeah.
It is now your watch. You can roll your perception to see what you perceive.
Would I roll a d20?
Yeah, just roll a
Yeah.
d20.
Oh
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
shit!
So, as you're
Obviously
Global.
hasn't woken up too.
yeah, so the way you were woken up, it's kind of shaking you. You're not really fully there. You're still half asleep.
I'm like half drunk.
You've got like the effect of your drink from earlier that you just downed. It's it's been holding on to you this whole time. But you've got the point of the spear pushed into the ground, kind of holding yourself up, keeping yourself awake from falling into the fire. You don't really see or notice anything during the night at all. You're just like almost dead to the world.
Nice.
So, is there anything you want to do while you're on your watch, while half asleep?
I'm gonna feed Leroy a couple of breadcrumbs.
So, so your mouse is called Leroy.
Yeah, that.
Okay. So,
I'm assuming I have a couple of breadcrumbs left over
Yeah.
from the snack earlier, so just give Leroy a few breadcrumbs.
so as
just
you
to keep
take out,
going.
you take Leroy out of your pocket. He smells the wonderful fresh air, and because you're so tired and not really paying attention, he leaps from your hand and scuttles into the darkness.
Leroy!
Are you actually gonna scream, Leroy?
No. I'll whisper like, Leroy, get the.
So, He's like scuttling off into the darkness. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I love that pet mouse. Uh, can I roll anything to see if I can see him with Elvision? No, probably not.
Well, you could roll like say perception to see if you can see him, or
Is that a
maybe
is that
you
a
could
D20?
yeah, or you could roll
Okay.
something like investigation to maybe spot his tracks. But so
It
far,
was
like you don't
really good, really.
you don't
The
see
pet mouse
him.
lasted long.
Yep, you don't see him. You don't hear him. There's no visible tracks on the ground. You're just too tired for this shit. So
I
what do you
sit,
want to do next? Your pet mouse has
sit
run off.
down, back against a log or whatever, and gonna make myself like a wee dagger from a stick because I'm bored as frig. That's what I'm gonna do. I know I have a spear, but I'm just gonna make a wee tiny
So you,
dagger.
you get like a foot long stick and you start sharpening it down.
Well, maybe not a foot long. Maybe let's say 6 or 8
He's just
inches.
whittling,
Just
basically.
whittling.
Yeah.
Just
Okay. So while you're doing that, you hear a sharp squeak. Off.
Friggin' Hedwig is friggin' killed Leroy.
But you hear a sharp squeak from behind you, and some panic scuttling.
Oh,
wait, wait. Panic scuttling. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm paying attention now. So look
So what are you
behind
gonna
me.
do? Okay, so you look around, roll some more perception to see what you
Oh,
spot in the
Jesus.
darkness.
Oh, come
Oh
on!
my God. So you don't immediately see anything, but then in the corner of your eye, like at the edge of where you're sitting, you see Leroy just bolt out of the undergrowth towards the fire. And then
Holy
out
shit.
of seemingly to you out of nowhere, a fox jumps out after him, chasing him into your clearing at the fire. The
Yeah.
fox is clearly starving. You could see the bones of its ribs. This thing hasn't ate in a very long time, and its hunger is driving it on more than fear of humans. So it really doesn't care that you're there. It just wants to eat the mouse.
Yes.
So now what are you
Uh,
gonna do?
is it mid leap or like is it about
Oh,
to
he's
about
like
to
landed on the ground, maybe a couple feet behind Leroy, and a couple feet away from you.
pick up the spear?
What are you gonna do
Uh,
with the spear?
I'm gonna yeet it at him.
Just gonna
full
straight up yeet the spear at the fox.
Yes. Yes, I
You'll
am.
need to roll a wee attack roll there.
Right, what do I need for that? Is that a dexterity or a strength?
It's a we'll do it a dexterity throw because it's not really that
So
heavy.
can I click dexterity then? Or
Just
does that
roll a
not work?
d20, and you'd need to add 5 to it
Do not
because.
screw me, game. Oh!
Okay, so you chuck the spear. It's gonna connect the fox, and since this is like it's like an improvised weapon, you'll need to
Yes.
roll a 1d4 for damage.
Oh, 1D. Oh, hang on. I need to do. Subtract that and put in the 4. Just a humble 2.
Plus your dexterity, which is a 5. Now I need to find something that I can compare a fox to in terms of statistics. Because there is no fox.
Where's Leroy now? Is he at the fire? Did he run into the fire? Did he go on, or-
No, he hasn't run into the fire, but he's heading that direction towards
probably
the
trying to climb up
the
your
shelter.
shelter, like, probably.
Bro, let's hope so. Leroy!
let's see here. I want to see how close you are to killing this per fox as it's trying to hunt to survive.
Probably take a wolf and just.
Yeah, I was
half.
gonna half it. So you did a total of 5 damage. Your spear, like, since it's not like an actual weapon, the point sticks in a bit.
Ooh.
Definitely severely hurts the fox. Maybe breaks a couple of its ribs where you strike it. But then it bounces back out, falls to the ground, and the fox yelps with pain. But in its eyes, as it in that moment glances your direction, you see that the hunger, the drive to survive, is pushing it on beyond the fear of humans, and it is determined because if it doesn't eat this meal, it is going to die of starvation.
Especially now.
And as the spear hits the ground, Leroy has dived somewhere into the shelter, and the fox is still pursuing, though
So
still limping heavily, and is almost inside the shelter.
he's almost inside. Where am I?
Almost
Am
inside.
am
You're
I
like
outside?
you're just a
I,
couple
I'm
feet away.
gonna 1 second. I'm gonna,
Okay.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I wake up to this.
I will see how stealthy the fox is. Probably not very stealthy.
It's just more of the yelp.
Let's see. Oh. Let's see. Yes, you would indeed wake up to the high-pitched squeak, well, yelp of the fox, and the scuffling of Carrick getting up and chucking the spear, which clatters to the ground. Though you haven't slept that long, so you're very, very like, yeah, like that.
Shit.
So, as you open your eyes, the first thing you see is a fucking mouse just jump towards your face. And then just outside entrance to the shelter, a fucking fox framed, like silhouetted in the firelight.
I'm gonna draw my dagger. Just gonna make my way over there and try and stop that bitch.
How
So-
far is the fox from me?
Maybe like 6 feet in front of you.
Kark, you had one job. I
As
As I-
you
as I
start
s-
that sentence, he is rushing towards the fox. The fox is rushing towards you, just kind of stops in its tracks as the mouse like runs towards you and it sees there's another human inside. And what do you both want to do next? This fox is pretty much like stunned, like, oh fuck, I'm dead.
Well, I want to kill the bitch, but
I'm just gonna watch what happens.
I want to kill the bitch, Andrew.
How do you want to attack it? Like, throw your knife or just run up, stab it?
Rugby tackle it to the ground and flipping aim at the juggler. Like
Okay. Oh,
crit.
make your attack.
What's that? D20, isn't
Yeah.
it? Shit!
So, as you dive for the fox, it darts out of the way, runs into. It doesn't really have anywhere else to go, so it jumps into the shelter as you plow onto the ground, roll around, and get covered in dust and pine needles.
Lovely.
And it is like in the shelter, almost on top of Carrick right now. Or Barrick right now. So now what do you want to do? There's a fox pretty much standing on top of you.
Top of me or
No, on top of Jacob.
Pull out a throwing knife from my is it daggers or throwing knives? I have
You
daggers.
have
Pull out,
daggers.
pull out a dagger and just fuck it straight at the fox.
You can also make your attack roll.
see this will be like a
It's a
20 now.
D20.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So in
I'm just awake.
your sleepy state, you pull a dagger from your boot, chuck it at the fox, but you're just still half asleep. It just goes tumbling over the top, sticks into part of the shelter, and the fox then jumps back over you, runs past the fallen barrack, and is trying to escape the camp.
I
Where-
get up,
So
rub
as it-
my eyes to try to wake myself up a bit more, walk over, and retrieve my dagger again.
So
and
as
then
you're
just-
pulling your dagger from the shelter, in this moment, what is Carrick doing? As you've fallen on the ground and saw the fox run
Obviously, I've got to
past.
search for my beloved Leroy. Where is he?
So you're the last place you saw him was jumping into the shelter.
Yes.
So
Do I
you're going
have
to
to
look
roll?
for him.
Do I have to roll dexterity to look for him?
It would be an investigation check, but yes,
So what? D20
yeah,
again.
and it'll be +4.
14's alright.
So let me see how stealthy your mouse is at hiding. Maybe you cannot find him. Oh, you find him. He's like
Yeah.
sitting pretty much where Barrick just got up, and he reveals the mouse sitting there, a wide-eyed, heart just is beating so fast you can't even count the beats as you pick him up. He is petrified.
Pick him up.
At this point, the fox is pretty much almost out of the range of the firelight across the clearing, limping heavily, severely wounded.
The job is more or less done. He's fucked off anyway. Right. Just pick up
I'm
Leroy.
going back to sleep.
Next, just pick up Leroy and just say to him, next time he eats you, or just throw him back in his wee cage or whatever the frick. I don't know how to hold him, or
It's a pocket mouse.
Yeah, you've got like a little pouch.
it's a wee pouch. Next time I let him eat you, and then throw him back in the pouch with a breadcrumb, and that, and then go back. Just dust myself off and go back out. And
There
go and
is
watch.
no movement from the pouch at all. He is frozen with fear. So, Barrick going back to sleep and Carrick going back on to watch. Any words exchanged here?
I'm gonna say no, cause
Wake,
sorta-
wake me up next time if a rabbit comes along or something. It might be too much of a challenge for you.
Oh,
I just like, fair enough. Back out.
oh my god.
Just putting my hand over my wee pet mouse. You know, just.
Well,
Leroy.
you go back on watch
Job done.
for the rest of the night and nothing else happens. And you sleep peacefully through the rest of the night uninterrupted.
Thank God.
But as the morning's done,
Leroy is safe. That's all I care about.
yes. But as the morning sun starts to rise over the mountains to the east, yes, sun does rise in the east. But as it rises in the east over the mountains, and light starts to fill the forest, your fire's starting to like burn down. Not much is left of it. And Carrick is currently the only one awake. Would you like to wake your traveling companion? Or is there anything you want to do before morning?
Not really. No. Wake Carrick.
Okay, so now you're both awake in the early.
Wait, hang on. No, I'm Carrick. What the?
Yes, I just assumed you meant Barrick. But you're now both awake in the early morning as the sun rises in this wilderness forest.
Seems a shame to leave such a what you might call it, but we must go. Nice shelter. Just push on.
First, I'm getting piss. Then I'm getting some food. And then I'm not gonna look at you for the rest of the day.
That's acceptable.
Nice. So,
I doused the fire. Can I do that?
with your water, or
Well, how is the fire still going pretty strong, or is it
no?
like
It's like almost smoldered to complete ash,
not really much
so it's
point
almost out.
then? Nah, not much point then. I will also go for a piss, and that will maybe have a quick snack, and then that'll be ready to go as well.
So you've both completed everything that you would have liked to done in the morning, and you're gonna continue on your travels.
Do I need to lower my rations?
Are you both going to take a drink and a meal for the day? Or do you want to eat it later?
I'm gonna eat half now,
I was gonna eat half as well.
and then I'll eat half, but like
Okay.
later on in the evening.
So,
Second breakfast.
You've
indeed.
had one breakfast. But what about the second?
You already had it.
So, do you want to like keep it towards say every morning you eat half, every night you eat half?
Yeah, sort of like basically when we set up camp at night, just sort of eat
Okay.
the other half.
We will try and remember that, but probably won't. So, it is the start of the second day of your journey. What way do you want to progress?
What did you
How
say?
far does it look like we are from the base of the
With our power
At
walking.
a
mountain?
guess, you would say you've probably traveled like a good, maybe like 20 to 30 miles, like into the forest.
So just under halfway.
Are we just
Ish.
moving along this tree line, the
Yeah,
sort of in
pretty
between,
much
like
like this. It's the way the
Yeah.
road goes. So it's kind of hilly, kind of foresty at the same time.
does the tin come this way?
The tin, you would assume, would come down the path towards Medford. Most likely pulled by horse and cart.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll just continue on upon the path at for the start of the day. I'll move just at sort of a normal pace because of the interruption of sleep last night. Even though I had a pretty good sleep, but just
Yes, the
More
amazing
annoyed than
shelter made the sleep quite comfortable. So is there anything you want to look for or do as you travel?
just as I walk out of camp, can I see any uh like is there like a trail of blood or anything from the
Roll
fox?
roll a d20 and we will find out what you spot.
Oh, nothing.
Oh dear.
Yes, you don't really see anything at all. It doesn't even look like there was a fox. It could have all just been a bad dream.
Lol.
So you then get onto the road and begin to travel further eastward. The terrain is starting to get rougher and more hilly, mostly going upward. So it is becoming more difficult to travel because the path is not the best. There's like bumpy parts with tree roots, maybe rough parts that are rockier
Are
than
there still are
others.
there still trees?
Oh yeah, there's still trees.
Okay.
Like this whole bit here, like this would all be forest. It's just this little
Okay.
section here has got more hills, just to like show like this is rougher terrain than this.
Okay.
So you will be traveling a slight bit slower, trying to cope with the rougher terrain you're being forced to walk on to get there. So you just want to push on ahead until you get as far as you can go.
Yeah, basically, plan for today is push till about midday, take a break for maybe half an hour, then push until about a couple hours before sundown again, set up another camp.
Okay.
Unless anything happens between then and there, that's the plan.
So as you travel throughout the day, things seem pretty calm. A cold wind does start blowing from the northwesterly direction. It gives you a bit of a chill, but at this point you're kind of used to it, having been in this area for so long.
I shall put my hood on to cover my neck.
So your neck, your ears, they're not considerably warmer as this cold wind comes in and hits your back. But the travel is quite smooth. You get to your first stopping point without any issue. Is there anything you want to do as you take your rest, or just rest and move on?
Probably just rest and move on.
Well, your rest is very comfortable.
That's Macaulay has anything to do.
No.
Okay. So your rest is quite comfortable. Nothing happens. And as this, like you travel, like keep on pushing forward, as the sun slowly starts to begin setting on the second day, you think you're probably almost there. Like as a guess, I would say you're probably around here, getting close to the very like base of the mountains. The terrain is getting quite rough. The trees are starting to thin out, and you can definitely see the imposing mountain range off in the distance in front of you, not that far away.
Lovely.
So now that it's getting dark, do you want to make camp?
Yes, make camp again.
As you're beginning to stop on the road and the sunlight
I-
starts to dim, you see
I-
off to the side there is a flicker of light.
Oh, shit.
It's quite, you can see it quite clearly just off to the side of the road, not far ahead. What do you do?
It's not dark yet. Hmm. That's...
Like, is this like a flicker of light from like a campfire?
Yeah, like you would assume someone has set up camp along the side of the road just in front of you.
We should investigate. Keep our distance for now.
Aye.
So you're going to approach.
Keep distance, but
Yeah.
approach.
So you will both need to roll some stealth checks. To,
Money, is it, or?
or do you care if you're seen, or do you want to stay
No, I
unseen?
would prefer not to be seen.
Then roll some stealth, just d20s. Okay.
Okay.
So Jacob's total is a total of 18, and Macaulay is a total of 17. So now let's see.
Ninja.
I'm assuming you won't be. Yeah, you can tell there's. As you creep forward through the trees and the continuing darkening night, you see there is a heavy laden cart with quite a few boxes on it, with two horses tied to a nearby tree, and three lightly armed and armored individuals sitting around a campfire eating their daily meal. How do you want to
That's-
progress?
What is there?
There's a cart with some, looks like boxes and crates on it, two horses tied to a tree, and three lightly armed and armored individuals sitting around a fire.
Dead ass, that's from the mine.
Do they look
Dead ass.
What's the word here? Do they look rough around the edges, or do they?
Roll some perception. See what you make of them.
Is that another D20?
Well, do you also want to see how they look?
I'm interested.
Okay,
Just
you
doing-
can both roll.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
So, like between the two of you, you can see that they're more formal looking. Like they all have the same kind of gear on. Their gear's pretty well cleaned and maintained. And they do look like the kind of guys that have seen a bit of a scuffle. Like in previous engagements. And you would assume that they are the caravan guard bringing the tin back to town from the mine.
okay. That's what we're trying to
The
avoid.
cart does look full. Like, any more and it'd be falling off.
Mm.
Um, I will sort of like, move my head towards Barrack as is in like just to fuck off, like leave them be. That kind of gesture.
Okay, let's get out of
I
here.
will, I
Yes.
will, I will nod and agree. And when we get a wee bit more of a distance away, I suggest that we travel for
I push on a little bit.
another half an hour or so. Push on a bit more, and then just set up a camp. Then.
As you want to push on, do you want to keep following the road, or do you want to divert so
Yeah.
they don't see you?
Why would they be able to see us from the road?
Yeah, if
Or
you
they-
travel along the road, they'd be able to see you from where they are.
Diverge.
We will diverge then.
You will need to roll some more stealth and
Ah,
see
shit.
if you can avoid the gaze.
Oh, what's happened here now? Why can I not select a dice?
Ooh, so that's... Oh no!
Oh God!
Oh,
Okay, so there's
we
only one
probably
way.
stepped in a rabbit hole.
So,
No,
as
my mouse just escaped again.
no, as you're beginning to kind of skirt around the edges of where their firelight is glowing as the sun starts to drop,
Goddamn game.
you are so focused, like Carrick is so focused, looking over at the campfire and the troops, trying to make sure they're out of sight, can't be seen, that doesn't see a log kind of hidden in the undergrowth, trips over it onto a thin pile of small sticks with a resounding crack echoing through the forest.
For fuck's sake.
There's then silence. The guards at the fire have stopped talking and chatting, and you can see one get up and load his crossbow.
Brilliant.
So do they see us?
They
Of
haven't
course they do,
seen
I rolled
you,
a
but
one.
they're aware that something is there.
Is there
Because
any
it
cover
is very
nearby?
dark. There's
Any
like
cover near-
some rocks and bushes scattered around the trees. Like, you're pretty close. You could try and dive into a bush or behind a rock
Can
if you
we
wanted to.
can we dart into cover, or can I dart
Do
into cover?
I need to because I didn't fail mine, or did I fail mine too?
It's hard to tell if they can see, like, if they know you're there. You're quite close together, like in the same general area. So from the direction he's looking, you don't know if he sees you or not. It's hard to tell.
shall roll just to try to be stealthy and get in behind a tree or a rock or a bush or something.
So you can pretty easily just slip in behind a tree that's only a couple steps away. But as you're doing that, what is Carrick doing? Who is currently face first, planted into the ground on a pile of sticks.
Ooh, obviously, I want to recover and look for cover and get behind it. That would be ideal.
Let's make some rolls and see
Okay, right.
how you do in this tense
Here's the
situation.
one. Right, here's the really, really. So I look around and see
No,
stones.
no, this is what happens. Like, you get up, and you're like, what's going through your mind is, oh shit, they're gonna spot us and want to know why we're going to the mine. And as you turn around to hide behind a tree, you trip over the same log as you go the other way. And
I knew this would happen.
oh
I knew.
my god.
I roll a 20 to down a beer, but when I need it, when I really need it, it gives me a 1. Good
So
game.
you've just re-face planted back into the ground, and you can I know you can't see, but Barrack sees the caravan guard with the crossbow take a couple steps closer to the road, peering out into the darkness, shouting out, "Anyone there? Show yourselves! I'm gonna shoot!" You can see him aiming the crossbow into the darkness. You can faintly hear one of the guards behind him laugh at him and start telling him that it's probably a deer or some other animal, and he's talking to animals like an idiot.
Has he seen me? Probably has, hasn't
It's still dark enough that you
he?
guess he can't see you in the darkness, but he knows
Can
there's
I
something there.
whisper enough to? Can
Oh,
I whisper?
Yeah, you could talk where he can't hear you. So if you want to communicate, you can, and they won't be able to hear you.
Stop
Yeah,
moving, you fucking idiot.
I will stop moving.
So you just hold still.
We're
Yes.
just gonna. I'm just gonna watch the guy with the crossbow and wait until he goes back to the. See what he does next, basically.
So he stands there for maybe about a minute, staring into the darkness, lowers his crossbow. You can hear him saying over to the other ones, must have just been a deer. Sit down on the log next to the campfire, and they continue eating their meal, but with muffled voices, quieter than when you first spotted them.
Nice.
You're not being watched.
Right.
What are you going to do now? You're both
Well,
standing
I'm
as
I'm face planted.
Yes,
down
you're-
probably
you're
right
lying
now,
on the ground.
so I don't know. if
walk up behind Carrick, making damn sure I don't trip over this enemy that he has been facing.
Yes, this mighty log.
I'll lift him up and whisper in his ear, quietly, and watch. There's a log there.
uh,
Try to creep on a bit more.
I
at
just go for
this point, you can both roll 2d20s and pick the highest one. Because it's getting so dark, it's almost impossible to see.
16. Yay.
Okay, so you're fine, you haven't fallen over the log for a third time.
Christ.
Oh,
Wait,
that does not
wait,
work.
Oh, it's
I rolled that wrong.
115. Wait,
Oh,
rolling
shit,
it.
2 and an 8.
2 and an 8.
Oh dear.
Let's see. So as you're sneaking along, there is the slight crackle of twigs and branches under your feet.
Yeah, but it's probably not far away now that
Yeah, they
would
look
have
up.
heard it.
Yeah, they look up over your direction, but they quickly dismiss it. They don't get up to inspect it or anything. So you have successfully navigated your way past the campsite of the caravan, back onto the road.
Thank God.
Alright, we shall, how far away are we from them now?
Oh, they're like almost out of sight at this point.
Okay, well maybe travel for another 10 minutes
Yeah.
and then set up a campfire, like a sort of quick makeshift campfire beside the road.
So you keep
I
going.
will help in this effort this
So you
time.
keep going a little bit. Doesn't take you long until you're definitely way out of sight. Probably never going to see them again. And you can easily construct a small. Well, who's going to be like doing the main fire building?
It's my
Call it.
turn this time, so it'll be me.
Roll 2d20s like separately, and then we'll pick the highest one.
Flip it. Anyone
So-
two, like.
What that is, that's advantage. So because you're like you're building the fire, but Jacob's like helping collect wood, build the fire. He can assist you, and then you can roll
Roll.
twice and pick the better one.
Imagine building a 2-5.
So you're like stumbling through the darkness, even though you can see decently well in the dark. You're just stumbling about, can't find any sticks, and then Beric just comes along and pushes a couple of good sticks into your arms, and you get to building a fire. Doesn't
I
take
have
long.
been Freaking useless at the start. This has been the best start ever. I
So,
mean,
so you get the fireboat quickly, get it lit. So anything you want to do tonight before you set the watch and go to sleep?
Just
I'll
eat
take
the other
first
half
watch.
of my ration.
Yes.
That too, and then I will take first watch.
Ooh, switching up the watch. So you get a quick meal of your rations, filling your stomachs with some whatever type of food you want it to be, like beef jerky, dried fruit, whatever. So you've had a nice meal, sitting around your fire, and as Beric is getting nice and settled, ready for sleep, and Carrick is taking watch, you can roll some perception to see if there's anything you spot during the night. That's not amazing. You get a +2, so it's a 12. Now, what happens during the night?
See the fox again.
So, during the night, even with your elven vision, you don't really see anything out of the ordinary. Just the moonlight coming through the trees, not as bright as the night before, because there's some cloud cover that's passed over the moon. The cold wind is getting colder and a bit stronger, blowing from the northwest. Kind of cuts through your arm and your clothes a little bit, giving you a chill. But through your night, or through your watch, the night has been peaceful.
Thank God.
You can then wake up, swap the watch. Is there anything you want to say as you're changing the guard for the night?
Your shift, mate. That'll do it.
Anything happen this time? Any foxes?
Fuck all this time, mate.
What is with your voice? Did you become a comedian? And I'm sleeping.
Been a I've basically been a comedian all day today, so you can make what you want of it.
Just get some sleep.
So, as a Carrick drifts into sleep, and you're taking the watch, you can also roll. Oh,
Fuck, I see nothing. No.
No.
Literally the blind,
Yeah.
the blind would see more.
Fuck off.
you've got no bonus, so it's just a 2. So
Didn't think it would
as
have mattered.
as you're sitting, looking out into the darkness, you don't see anything. You're just kind of reflecting on what's happened throughout the day, and how this, in your eyes, like buffoon, is even trying to become a member of the guild. And as you're sitting, just looking out into the darkness, there is a sudden rustle of the bushes, probably no more than like 10 feet from where Carrick is sleeping.
Goddamn fox! I'm getting my dagger out of my.
Oh, okay.
No more than 10 feet from where Carrick's sleeping right now.
Oh no, it's. I'm gonna meta game here and definitely say this is, definitely not the first enemy you always fight in a D&D game. Here comes the wolves, boys! I prick up my ears and stand with my hand on the hilt of my sword, just scanning, looking in the direction of the rustling bushes.
Roll some more perception.
Should be good.
Fuck.
So, as you turn around to look out towards the rustling of the bushes, something sharp and pointy presses up against the back of your neck, and you hear a gruff voice whisper into your ear, "Don't move or this bolt's going through the back of your head, son."
Freaking brilliant.
There is a crossbow bolt to the back of your head. He continues to whisper, "Where's the cart? Where's the cart? I thought you told me the cart was coming down this road this time of night. There's now a short argument as Carrick roll some constitution, guy. Just roll a d20.
20.
For fuck's sake. So you're starting to sleep. You're having a great dream about killing the fox
Lethal, I don't have to do anything.
as another unarmored individual with a dagger creeps, like you can see this guy, Jacob, creeping up on him. Reach down, like put a knee onto his chest as he sleeps, and the dagger to his throat. This is like an unarmored, like, commoner. In the firelight, you notice this is a man you have seen from the village before, though you don't know his name or anything about him. They're then arguing to each other as Carrick wakes up with a knee pressed to his chest, pinning him to the ground, and a blade to his throat. Now, what do you want to do?
I'm going like, what the f is going on?
You're then quickly pressed to the ground with this blade digging into your throat. As the man,
What about, I
I just sort of sigh, just like, cart's not here, you idiots. You've got the wrong people.
they quickly glance back and forth between each other. Keep going.
But I will tell you where it is, and you can go on your merry way, and we can forget this happened.
Roll some persuasion. This is a new dice roll for you.
So this is a d20.
Just roll a d20, yeah. You will have a +2.
Oh, come on! Like,
So-
this game, shortest D&D campaign ever. I get my throat slit.
Okay.
Yeah!
So you can feel the bolt press up against your neck just a bit harder. As you're like, these guys are fucking lying. They're hiding the cart. Where's the cart, you bastards? Nobody else travels this road but the tin wagon.
Yes, of course. We hid the cart, and I suppose we were just pulling the cart by ourselves, were we?
You can suddenly see the one standing, well, kind of kneeling over Carrick. His eyes just get wide and he's like, it's a trap. They're probably watching us from the trees right now. And he starts like looking up, looking around, not necessarily paying attention to Carrick on the ground. As the one with the crossbow to your back's like, don't be a fucking idiot. The cart, they probably never brought the cart. The tin hasn't even left yet. I think they're onto us. They know we've been planning this for weeks. They're now having this intense argument between each other, clearly unsure of what is actually
Oh,
going
I
on.
really want to punch this retard on top of me.
If
like,
you want to, he's not
Right,
paying attention
right.
right now.
oh, that,
If Macaulay acts, I will act immediately after. I am basically in the mindset of if Macaulay acts, I'm gonna do something.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna try an uppercut. I mean, it's literally who my character is, so not doing it isn't really role playing. So
Just go for an attack
you
roll.
have knives.
but Andrew, would I be able to get a knife?
If you want to get a knife and attack him, we'll go for a disadvantage of rolling 2 dice, taking the lowest. If you just go for a straight punch, we'll just take the roll you get with 1 dice.
We'll go with uppercut.
'Cause then you'll
because
have
those
to
have not been
Grab
that
your
great
knife
so
as you're
far.
pinned to the ground, and then try and
If
turn around and
if I
stab him.
uppercut him and he's disarmed, then everybody's a winner, and I've grabbed the knife. Here we go.
So,
Right, yes. Some fun guys. I'm way to bed. I'm lit in the shower.
what the? This is like the 5th or 6th one. Oh my god.
So
What did I witness here?
So, as you see this guy kind of panicked, and looking around for like eyes in the dark, you go to throw a punch up at him, but as you get your arm ready for a punch, the individual behind Beric just takes his crossbow from your neck and fires a bolt that impacts right beside your head, like an inch from hitting you. And like that's enough of a warning for you to like hold back your punch and kind of freeze. Like this guy could have killed you. And then he just
Yeah.
shouts over to you, I'll
Should
ask
have.
you one more time, boy. Where's the cart? Where's the tin? I will let you live. Or we're gonna slit both your throats this night and there'll be two bodies found in the ditch.
So has he fired the shot?
He has
he
fired
has,
the
aye.
shot. His crossbow's now empty.
So is it? But what's he doing? Is he just kind of like standing there with a crossbow in his hands?
The crossbow is like just like a couple inches to the side of her head. You feel like the air blast past your hair as this bolt just skims past you. Like it was close.
I'm gonna try to draw my sword, and then sort of one motion, sort of like draw my sword and like turn around and like just sort of like draw the sword and just sort of rotate and use the momentum of the rotate to like hit him in the head.
Go for it. Roll your dice. This will be
Gonna
with a
be a
plus
Or
5.
2. It's gonna be a
By the
humble 2.
God!
Humble 2. Oh.
Ah!
Okay. Hold on,
So
hold
terrible.
on.
Uh,
So as
I'm
as
using my
Your-
dexterity,
yeah.
aren't I?
yeah. So as you pull your blade from the sheath and swing it round, you can see his eyes widen as he tries to lift the crossbow to defend himself. You can now roll your d6 damage. Because you can clearly see now this guy is unarmored. He's wearing like common clothes, just with a crossbow in his hands. So your blade, which you swing for the head, hits off the side of his crossbow, slides down, and impacts in like his bicep of his right arm. And with the shock of being struck with a blade, he just crumples to the ground with the impact. The crossbow just clattering at his feet. His friend
In the panic,
is
I want
What
to
is
like,
it? What does
I
this
want to
mean?
just hold the sword at his neck and just wait until, and then
you
see
can
his mate
see this
there.
guy, this first one that's fallen is clearly unconscious.
Or is
Okay, so
Yeah, as
he
that
dead. He
happens,
dead.
Well, still.
as that happens, the other one who has the blade to Carrick's neck
I am
In panic.
dead.
goes to slide the blade over your throat. So
Great.
you can now make like a pretty much a contest of strength or to overpower him.
Andrew, just so you know,
Get us a
Nice,
new
it's-
dice!
I want no, hang on, I want to know,
Oh,
before I
God.
get killed here. How long did it take you to do this campaign?
Well,
Like,
you're not dead.
have you invested much time? No, I should be dead. How have you invested much of your
No,
time?
just wait,
So
just
far
wait.
we've played for an hour and a half, and I'm already dead.
You're not dead yet. So as you go to try and like you can tell he's about to try and slit your throat, but you get your arms up in time.
3 ones, man.
You can
3.
feel the blade slide across your skin, but you manage to just push it up enough that it doesn't cut anything vital and just slides up just under your chin, barely cutting the skin, as you take 4 points of damage.
That'll leave a scar.
Most likely.
Right, so if they're struggling like that and I say that, I am gonna just...
At this point,
Uh,
it would be Macaulay's, like, what
Oh,
he
would it
can
be
try and
his?
do. Yes.
Yeah.
Headbutt. It's got to be the most logical.
So you're trying to use the momentum
Oh
of him
my
trying to
God.
slit your throat. Okay.
Just
Roll-
imagine that,
roll
like,
your
right,
attack.
He's got a knife to your throat, and what do you
Oh,
do?
no, hang on, yeah.
Headbutt him,
Alright,
like,
okay.
move your
Well,
neck forward.
He's like, he slid the knife over your neck, but like pulled it away with the momentum of trying to slit your throat. So the knife
Well,
is away from your
If
throat.
our hands are
Well, the
locked
knife is
and
away.
he's on top of me, I can't use my legs, I can't use my arms. It's got to be a headbutt. Like,
Go
let's
go
be
for
honest
go for a roll. You'll be making a strength check to headbutt him.
here.
So
Finally, a decent roll.
as the knife slides past your neck, you use the momentum of the sliding of the blade to push him over and slam your head like into his head, or where are you going for?
Oh, dead ass his head. We're headbutting each other.
You'll need to roll a d4 and then half whatever you get. So a 1 and 2 is a 1, a 3 and 4 is a 2.
A D4.
Yes.
1D.
Okay,
Ah!
so you headbutt him, and you can tell it's not a great headbutt because you aren't very physically strong, but
Yes.
it kind of stuns him of, oh shit, I've been thrown to the ground and headbutted. And he's in a panic. We will now switch back to Beric to see what he is doing as you watch this happen.
So I am very aware that the other guy's unconscious.
Oh yeah, he is clearly unconscious. Just bleeding from the arm, bleeding out onto the ground. It's quite a deep cut into his bicep.
Does the guy on the ground still have the knife in his
Yeah,
hand?
he still has the knife in his hand, preparing for
And is he
another
lying on
stab.
Is he lying on the ground?
He's on his back right now, with a Carrick crouched over top of him.
Probably,
I'm
okay.
gonna run over and put my blade to his throat, like just like the tip of the sword, and also put one of my feet on his the hand with the knife, if I'm able.
First, make we'll say
What's the
make
one tipped over an imaginary
just
log
just
and
roll
we
a
die?
roll a d20, and we'll see how.
One.
Okay, so as you run over to, first of all, pin down his blade, you stomp for his hand, and you can hear the snapping of his wrist
Bro,
as you
You've
break
broken his wrist.
like his hand, like the back of his hand is now touching the back of his arm. Like it is snapped all the way around.
Ah!
He is screaming in pain as your
Freaking
blade
shut-
like swings down to the edge of his throat.
Can I, if I'm crouched over him, can I shut his ass up, put my mouth over
Well,
his...
you'll is there anything you want to say to him as you get the blade to his throat?
Shut up, you dumb
No,
cunt.
not you, the guy.
Oh god, right.
or me.
Yeah, do you want to say anything as you have snapped his wrist with your boot?
Who sent you?
He's just screaming in pain. Roll 2 dice
Correct.
for intimidation. So you're getting advantage because you just snapped his wrist.
I also do have intimidation.
You do. So this will be with +4 on both.
What is this? Roll to what?
Just roll 2d20s and we pick the highest.
Damn it! I did that wrong.
The deal. Okay, so so
Oh, sick.
it is a very impressive display of intimidation, but he is just screaming in so much pain as his broken hand is pinned to the ground that it doesn't look like he's even listening to what you're saying.
Cover his mouth. That's what I want to
I turn around.
Actually, roll some damage for stomping on his hand, just in case you knock him out.
What do you want me to roll? A d6?
Roll a d4. Or can you roll a
Ooh.
d2? Can you roll a 1d2? Is that a thing?
No, I can't roll a d2.
do. A D3?
I
Is that
don't
a thing?
think.
There is no three-sided dice.
Can only
Oh, you
roll
can roll a
d4.
d2. It's like a
Okay.
coin flip. But we'll take that as a you rolled a 2 because it's a 3. So, like, he is like on the edge of consciousness. He's about to pass out from shock, from pain. It's just not a good time.
Right.
Now we're out of like just taking turns because this guy's like pretty much
Yeah.
immobilized. He can't
Is
do
he still
anything.
screaming?
Oh, he is screaming.
Right, cover his mouth. Flip's sake. Do I have
Yeah.
to roll for that?
No,
Right,
it's pretty
No,
easy
no,
at
you
this
don't need
point.
to roll. Man's got a broken arm lying on the ground. I'll lift up his knife, throw it away into the tree somewhere. Carrick, gag and tie this urchin up. I'll deal with the other one.
As he
I-
says the words urchin, that stings. But since you yourself were an urchin.
Ah, hurt. Ah. Right, okay, I'll do it anyway.
Okay, so you've got him tied and gagged.
Tied him and gagged, and search his pockets.
He's not even resisting at this point.
Excellent, search
He,
his
he's
pockets
in
anyway.
he's in a daze. So on him you find a silver and 5 copper,
Mine.
and he doesn't really have anything else on him. Just his
Take
basic
the money.
clothes.
I need the money more than him, so. Mine
You
now,
do
mate.
indeed. Is there anything else you want to do now that he is bound and you can just hear this like moaning, wheezing noise coming from him as he's rocking back and forth.
Shut your trap hole. Give him a nice wee slap.
Oh, you slap. That's how good a
Like-
slap this is. make a wee roll there. See
A D4, a D4.
a
or-
D20 roll. See how good a
D20.
slap you get him.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a pretty good slap. Echoes through the trees. He's like, he kind of quietens down a bit, but there's still this very low, quiet, like whimpering noise coming from him.
Am I gonna have to kick him in the balls? No, that's not a good
Is
idea.
there
No, no,
anything
no.
else the two of you want to do now that you've got? What are you doing with the unconscious one?
Yeah,
I can as well.
Come on.
I'll first check his pockets.
He also has he has 2 silver, no copper.
I shall take it.
We will add the money later, but you now have his 2 silver. There is the crossbow on the ground, and he has got 5 bolts in his belt.
You taking that shit?
I will take that.
Is it
So
a big crossbow?
no, you couldn't see. It's a very small crossbow.
Ooh,
It's
mini.
a what you would call a hand crossbow that you could just pull out with one hand and shoot with it.
It's an Assassin's Creed.
So it's not very powerful, but it is a crossbow.
Yeah, will so fuck you up if you get shot, but
Oh, I have a really, really bad idea.
Oh,
No.
is the guy? What's the condition of the second guy, the one I'm looking at?
he is. Let's see how bad he is doing. So, okay, he is beginning to come out of consciousness. I rolled
yeah.
three.
Alright.
I rolled 3 death saving throws for him. He got an 18, a 19, and then a 20. So he is beginning to wake
My
up.
God.
Right. Well, I'm
Tie
gonna
them both
tie
to
him up
the same
and
tree
have
or
him.
whatever.
I'm gonna sit him close to the campfire and throw a bit of water on him to wake him up.
He is now fully awake, going wah, wah, ah, ah, ah. Starts pulling against his binds, looks over, sees his friend, and this snapdra's like, my God, what the fuck did you do to him? Then sees his own arm and starts gritting his teeth, like, ah, fuckers, God damn it. He is clearly pissed.
It didn't have to come to this.
He's just giving you a death glare.
No, you're gonna tell me what I need to know, or I'm gonna cut you into tiny little pieces.
Make some intimidation rolls with advantage because of the brutality of what has happened. So roll 2d20s. 6. Oh, and 14.
Okay, 14, pretty civil.
So, going off what you had asked, like previously, for like what they had worked up, like who they were working for, he just looks around panicked from you to Carrick back to you, then over to his friend, and you can see the fear growing in his eyes. He is probably willing to answer whatever questions you've got for him.
Yes.
Aye. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. I'm only gonna ask them once, and I don't want any funny business. Okay?
He just
Shake
stares
your
at you
head
with
if you
fear.
understand.
He shakily nods his head.
Good, good. Now, obviously, we gather that you two were planning to steal the tin shipment coming down from the mine. Unfortunately, if you had traveled 15 more minutes up the road, you would have found them and not us.
You can hear him curse under his breath. He's like, fuck. Fuck you.
But
Fuck.
by the
fuck.
way you two handle each other, I don't think you would be in any better shape than you are now. So,
Burn.
who do you work for?
I don't work for anyone. We just wanted to steal the 10 shipments and then sell it in a different town to get a better life. I don't work for anyone, I swear.
Makes sense.
It's
What if
clear
I
they
say
never-
I don't
Yeah.
believe you.
Why would we lie? You just broke my friend's fucking arm. And you sliced me up. Like, I don't have anything left to live for. If you want to
Who
kill
told
me,
you
just
about
fucking
the-
kill me.
How'd you know about the tin shipment coming today?
Everybody knows about the 10 shipment. It arrives into town at the same time every week.
Well, and you two thought you were just gonna come out here, kill the guards, drive the tin, what?
You
down
see
to
a
the
sudden
capital
look of realization fall over his face as he realizes how bad a plan this actually was.
I just go, you pair ain't smart, are you?
He just hangs his head in shame at this point.
You pair aren't very smart.
You yourselves would know that from being in the town for
Probably.
so long that tin shipment arrives same time every week,
No, it's not.
and there's always 3 armed guards with it.
Okay. No, your friend's in pretty bad shape, and you did try to kill us. So you kind of see my predicament here. Now, I could leave you tied up here, and you could become food for the wolves. Or I could cut your throats. Or I could let you go. But see, I don't have a lot of confidence in me safely going on my way and not knowing that you'll try to kill us in the night again. So, Carrick, what do you think?
Decisions.
He's just looking back between the two of you, eyes wide with fear, too scared to even speak.
I mean, could stick a knife in both their knees. You know, that's an option, but these retards got the jump on us before and didn't do a very good job. So, I'm 50-50.
What is the decision?
Rick, you can't really trust a thief's word, so no honor among thieves.
As he says this, there is a sting to the words as Barrack hears
Wait.
them.
Wait, that stings.
Yes, as you said, no honor among thieves.
Okay, well, wasn't really intentional, but
Yes, because you don't know what each other's backgrounds are yet. You can just see, like, just
What is
from the
your
way he
name?
looks. What is his name?
Yeah.
He just glances up at you and he's like, Thomas. I'm Thomas.
Your friend here?
That was William. Is he dead? He stopped moving. I think he's dead. And he's just,
No, he's not dead.
he's not even moving at all at this point.
Oh shit! Right. Okay. Can we do a check to see if he's alive?
Make a medicine check.
D20. Here we go. Oh, 14 again. Okay.
Uh,
Holy
you
shit! He did.
now you can tell that he isn't dead yet, but he is bleeding heavily from his. Actually, hold on. Let me see if he's dead before I.
God.
Okay, so he's bleeding heavily, but he isn't dead just yet.
Your friend is bleeding to death. Now, do you believe in honor among thieves?
Uh,
Do you,
Uh,
Thomas?
I don't know. What are you saying?
Not even sure this man is qualified to be, or would be qualified to be a thief. But
Are you from the village, Thomas?
Oh, you know he's from the village.
oh
You've
yeah,
seen
that's
him
right, he
before.
is, yeah.
Alright, I thought I only recognized one of them.
Oh, you recognize the two of them. You've never known their names or like who they are, but you've like
Okay,
seen them
Thomas.
drinking in the bar before.
I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm gonna fix up your friend here so he doesn't bleed to death. And then in the morning, I'm gonna cut you both free. And you're gonna make your way back to the village. And next time I see yous, I
We're about to
am
kill you again.
gonna
Lol.
kill you both. So, if you see me coming again, best of walk the other way.
He just starts nodding, clearly terrified of you both.
Excellent. Oh, does he have to roll intimidation, or did you
I
just
pull
roll?
Oh,
out.
no.
What is Thomas wearing?
He's just wearing like some ragged common clothes.
I pull out my knife, my dagger, right? Go up to Thomas, and sort of just cut a bit of cloth off his rags.
Okay. Goes easy enough. He's
Uh,
not resisting.
Throw it to Carrick and try to bandage him up best you can.
Make another medicine check.
Here we go, baby. Oh no!
Oh no. Oh.
Crap!
Oh.
He's dead! Holy shit, he's dead!
Oh my god. Okay, so
The clothes were covered in feces. No.
no, it's worse. So as you like try to like straighten up his hand to tie the bandage,
Bring it back.
as you're like trying to tie it up and you're trying to put it into place, like you can tell this hand is really fucked up. And as you're trying to straighten it into place, you just hear the grinding and the cracking of bones and the
Oh fuck.
and the, oh my god. And the bandages they don't hold, they just fall off. And don't even do anything. They're just soaked in blood.
Whoops.
Like there are bones visibly sticking from his skin where they have been like broken and splintered.
I turn to Barrick and just go, just shake my head, no, just not happening.
Oh, you see this happen. You see him like try and straighten the wrist and the bones just pop out of the skin.
Please roll another one.
His
please.
Thomas also sees this and he just fucking faints there on the spot. He's eye tried now. Just watching his friend's wrist get like re-broken.
That must be the most useful adventure tonight.
Right.
Oh my god.
What time is it?
Oh, it's like
Goddamn 10:15.
Is it still night?
It's probably
Oh,
about the
yeah.
same time it is now at 10:15 as it is in this
Right.
world. It is dark.
Does Thomas need medical stuff to survive, or will he be okay?
Um, his arm is bleeding pretty badly. He got a deep cut into his bicep.
Right. I shall medicine roll this time.
Oh,
to see
please
if
be
I
one, please be one,
can
please be
Do
one.
you want to do both of them or just one?
I will do both.
Okay, so that was
That
Thomas.
was for Thomas.
Thomas's arm is.
Oh, the other guy's fucked. The other guy, he's fucked.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. So-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He is dead.
His
He
hand,
is dead.
his hand is
Oh.
still
So Thomas he successfully bandaged up his arm pretty well. And then as you're trying to bandage up this broken wrist, you're really trying to like position the hand so you can get the bandages around it. You're getting a good firm grip on it. But then like as it just like the bandage falls apart, you twist the wrong way and you dislocate the elbow. And the arm is now just all limp and floppy. Do you want to see if he's still alive?
He's dead.
He's dead. He's dead. Or if not, soon will be. He's fucked. Okay, just carry, drag him fucking over there.
Ugh. Okay, so
I'm getting some sleep.
as you drag him away, just make a perception check on him.
Oh, my God. D20. Oh,
Okay, so
He did.
looking at him, you can't tell if he's breathing or not. It is unclear. You need to make a medicine check to check if he's
Here we
actually
go.
dead.
He's dead.
He is still alive,
God.
but is soon to bleed out. You can see he's getting really pale from the blood loss.
Now, the question is... Oh, wait, no, he's already unconscious.
Oh yeah, they're both unconscious.
He's dead either way. I don't have to slit his throat. That'll just look like murder.
Oh my god. Oh. Are you going to try and save him or just like dump his body in a ditch?
Hell no, that's gonna require another medicine check, and we know how that's gonna end.
Hey, you could always try. Do you think you would save him or not?
The most honourable thing at this point would be load the crossbow and aim at his head.
Oh my god.
Right. I will give it one more saving grace.
Good.
One.
Okay, so that
Well, like I do that, do my best, and then I just head to sleep. And if he's still alive in the morning, the gods will it.
so you wrap some cloth around this completely mangled wrist. You don't even bother touching the dislocated elbow. It looks like it's still bleeding, but it might help. You'll just have to wait and see.
Better than just cutting off the hand, burning it in the fire, and just.
So, do you want to sleep the night?
Yes, I will go to sleep for a
With
bit,
your
and then-
tied up unconscious prisoners.
Yes.
So, you sleep, like you take turns taking the watch, you sleep the rest of the night. Everything goes pretty smoothly. And then you are both awake the next morning. Both of your prisoners are still lying motionless, either asleep or dead.
Well, he's dead.
Right.
He is dead.
Because I'm obviously up when the sun's coming up when Macaulay's still sleeping, I shall check on Thomas first.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Just check his pulse.
As you go to check his pulse, he snaps up awake, glaring at you, breathing heavy. So he is awake,
Still
but
in
he
the
hasn't.
land.
hasn't-
Still in the land of the living, Thomas.
You can see him glance around, going, where is he? What have you done with him? Where is he? Looking for his friend that was dragged away before being bandaged.
I'll see if he's still alive or not. He was in pretty bad
It's like,
shape.
oh God. Oh God! I promised his mother I'd keep him safe. Oh no.
I'll go check the other one.
Okay, so you get to, where the
what's guy
body's
that's
lying.
dead's name? What's his name?
I think it was William,
William. Okay.
but you're gonna check him. So whether he is dead or not, you think he's dead. So you just look at him, he's not moving, he's really pale, there's blood all over the bandages.
I'm still asleep. Am I? Yeah. Or am I awake?
Well,
Sorry, Thomas.
You'd just be waking up.
Okay.
He
Well-
starts weeping uncontrollably at at your words.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to do this. And don't make me regret it. And remember,
You'll
when you
never see me
return-
again. You'll never
when
see
you
me.
if you return to town, I don't want to return to town later on and hear stories of you being attacked by us. I don't want any trouble or any.
You'll never see me
Good.
again. I'll be gone. Like I never existed.
Good. Make sure that
My
is
advice,
so.
kid: get the hell out of Dawn.
This guy is older than you.
I
Oh, shit.
unbind Thomas's.
He just starts crawling away in the direction of where the body of his friend lies.
Oh.
He is going to make a medicine check to see if he's
Can I
alive or not.
follow and also make a medicine check?
You
I
can.
don't
You can.
like going near him. I feel.
Yes.
Okay, so you look over at him and you're like, nah, he did. He did. And,
He
uh,
straight
and-
up- holy shit, he's
And
dead.
Thomas just like gets down, puts an ear to his chest. It's like, oh my God, he's still breathing, and starts trying to drag him towards the road to get back to the
There is-
town.
No way that man should be living
He
or will live.
seems to have blood that clots very well, or
Mm.
something. But he's still alive.
If
Wait,
they
wait,
make it,
if they
like,
make it back
what
and
is
we
it,
get
like
attacked by
60
one-armed
miles
bandits.
back to
Yeah,
town?
he's trying to drag him back to the road. You can see him like starting to try and lift him onto his back, struggling to take a step. These guys do not stand a good chance of survival.
I'm calling it right now. This moment right here, we're gonna get attacked by a one-armed bandit in the future. Frig you, Andrew. That guy should be dead.
He rolled very well. So let me see here.
Wait a minute.
We
Before he sort of runs him off, Thomas.
He glances back, briefly stopping to look in your direction.
Wait a moment. I sort of go over to him. Look for some sort of sticks. Can I have a go at making like a makeshift stretcher?
You could. You need to use some of your like 50 foot of rope, but you could.
Yes, I will use what 10 foot of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's see.
what like roll a d20?
Yeah, we'll make this a survival check.
Yeah.
So you make a pretty decent makeshift stretcher. Get William strapped
I
onto it,
haven't
and then he
put
starts
on
dragging it back.
Has this stretcher got wheels?
No, he's just like kind of dragging like two of the handles along the dirt
Oh,
path.
okay. Because I was wondering, like, the stretcher needs 2 people to lift. Hmm.
But he starts dragging it back as quickly as he can.
I walk over to Bark
hope the
and
wolves get them. I can smell the blood.
now you can say you've seen honor among thieves.
Fair enough. First time for everything.
Hmm.
But
I do not like their chances. But I could not live with myself. They're starving, poor, all they've ever known.
This rings some bells within Carrick, who was also poor and starving for the majority of his life.
life's tough. I ain't gonna argue with it with you that.
Right. We best be off. This has been a strange few days. We should be only a day off from the tin mine if we make good progress through the day. We should arrive by
Let's hope
close
so.
to nightfall.
Indeed.
Let's be off.
Let's go.
As you start making your way along the road as the sun is beginning to rise, streaming through the branches of the trees, I think this might be a good bit to stop for now before you get to the
Yeah.
tin mine.